Hello, good morning. This is Dr. Cool Auto Fix. How are you doing today? If you're new to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel. If you've done that, hit the notification bell icon to keep you alerted. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you about the component called the AC evaporator thermistor or AC evaporator temperature sensor. The evaporator temperature sensor or switch is a common component found in many road cars today. It is a part of the AC system, and as the name implies, this component is used to detect how freezing the evaporator is, and that information is actually used to signal the AC radio amplifier on how cold or how warm the evaporator temperature is. Now when that happens, the AC radio amplifier uses that information to either to turn off the compressor or to turn on the compressor. Then also, the AC radio amplifier uses that information to adjust how cold the air that comes out of your vents is and how warm the air that comes out of your AC vents is going to be. So the AC temperature sensor that is installed directly on your evaporator plays a very crucial role in determining how much temperature, to regulate the amount of temperature that comes out of the AC vents of your car. So without it, the AC amplifier radio will have no clue of what is going on inside the car. It will have no any clue on the right parameter to give the AC compressor on how much refrigerant it should pump, and that's for the newer model AC compressors, that is variable displacement. And for the old system, it won't know when to actually cut off the power going to the compressor. Now you heard me correctly. It has the tendency, the AC ECU uses that, AC ECU or radio amplifier uses that information to cut off the power going to the compressor. That's for the fixed displacement, because it has no any plate to adjust, so it will be able to vary the cooling intensity that comes out of your car. When this very sensor or switch goes bad, it can trigger three major symptoms, and one of those are, the first one is no cold air coming out of your vents. So when you are stuck in that kind of a situation where there is no any cold air coming out of your AC vent, there is every tendency that the evaporator temperature sensor or evaporator thermistor has actually failed. And when that switch fails, it has a tendency, because the ECU have no clue or whatsoever if the evaporator temperature is hot, warm, or cold. So if it doesn't have that information, then it will turn off the power going, it will disable the AC from working, and therefore you're not going to get any cold air coming out of the vent. That's number one. Then the number two is, have you have a situation where the AC blows cold sometimes and blow warm sometimes? That's another symptom with evaporator temperature sensor that has failed, because it has a tendency of making the reading, creating an inconsistency in the AC system, that the compressor is going to come on sometimes and go up sometimes, or it can actually be blowing but not giving a consistent cold air coming out of the vents, most especially for new model vehicles that are using a variable displacement compressor. So seemingly you're going to be seeing the compressor clutch engage, but on the other sense, it really doesn't permit the variable displacement compressor to do its job the way it's supposed to. All the cold air that's supposed to be the constant compression of the refrigerant is not really going on inside it. On the surface area you're seeing it, but it's not really going on inside it. because the ECU uses that thermistor to adjust the right parameters which the AC compressor should be able to operate. So when it starts giving a radical readings to the AC control modules, then it's gonna be going off the balance, and there you be having the AC to blow warm sometimes and blow cold sometimes. And the third one is AC compressor does not activate. Seemingly, like I said in the context of this very video, that AC compressor does not activate in other symptoms. It's a probability is that the AC evaporator temperature sensor is defective. The AC temperature sensor actually plays a direct role on activating and deactivating the compressor. That's for older model. It's actually the main component which the AC control modules, AC electronic control modules uses to decide when to activate the compressor or when to deactivate the compressor, because the older models is not a variable displacement compressor, and therefore it regulates how cold inside the vents is by deactivating the compressor and activating the compressor, and it does that very efficiently using the AC evaporator temperature sensor, or AC evaporator thermistor as other names of it implies. So if you have that occasion where the AC compressor is not turning on completely, it's not coming on, and you shouldn't be so quick at jumping into that, okay, Dr. Ku have actually told you that the thermistor can actually be the culprit. No, you have to first of all rule out every other component that can actually create the same scenario of not turning the AC compressor on. That if you are working with older models, right? If you're working with older models that have a fixed displacement compressor, you want to go ahead and check the pressure switch or ternary sensor. You want to go ahead and check the fuse or relay that powers the magnetic clutch relays. You want to check it and make sure that they're in very good condition, because they can also trigger the same problem, trigger the same symptoms of not even allowing the compressor to come on. And you can also go further to check the AC compressor clutch magnetic coil to make sure that it's not fried, because if it is fried, there is no way the clutch is going to be engaged and there is no way the AC compressor is going to power on. Then for the newer models, where you're going to be targeting are also different places. The AC pressure sensor, you're going to check it and make sure that it's in good condition. If suppose that system is equipped with the AC magnetic clutch coil relay, you want to check it and swap it with another relay that looks the same like that one. So then aside that, you also want to check the you want to also go ahead and check the ambient temperature sensor. This is two different things. The ambient temperature sensor deals with the environment temperature sensor, which the ECU also uses to determine how cold or how warm inside the vents is going to be. So it's not every car that's equipped with ambient temperature sensor, but in this case, when you're trying to troubleshoot a problem with AC compressor not coming on, it's a 360 degree something. It's not something that you just have to focus on one side. Okay guys, I hope you find this video very helpful to narrowing down why your AC is blowing warm. And if it does, do give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I gotta catch you guys later. Bye for now.